Hello boys and girls. On this video I'm going to show you how to best use markers and vivids when it comes to creating your artwork. So for your prototyping or your model, you would want to do a really quick sketch of the section that you want to try out. So you are zooming in. I've just brought my plan in here next to my drawing so you can see the section over there that I'm zooming in on. That's all I'm drawing. I am not going to draw the entire plan. Zooming in really helps you to see the detail, so drawing bigger is always better. The video is speeded up here just to show you how the drawing can quickly be done. Put as much or as little detail into it that you are happy with. Remember, this is about testing out the media to see whether you like the look of it. Now with markers, they don't blend, so they are more to create an effect similar to a stained glass window. That's probably where they work best. Another trick to remember about markers is that it's good to use them in color families. And you'll see me doing that here in this video. I will group into warm and cool families to use on different sections of this model. So here is the black marker. I'm testing it on the outside of the drawing to make sure it's not dry. If it is dry, please throw it away in the bin. It needs to flow easily. Now the video is speeded up, but you will find that if you draw as quickly as this, the ink won't flow out of the pen very well. So you want to rather draw quite slowly and carefully, but smoothly so you don't have little jagged edges to your lines. You're not sketching with this, you need the ink to flow along the lines. So pull in one straight strong line over your pencil. You're aiming to hide the pencil below, except where you might have a couple of mistakes you can just ignore. Here we go, almost finished with the marker. Now if you want black sections, this is the pen you use. You don't use the Jovi, the coloured marker for colouring it in black. Use the black vivids. Always put the lid back on before you put them away. Now over here you will see there are some skinny sections and some fatter sections. We have two sizes of coloured markers, the skinny and the fat, and I'm showing you here with the orange the tip sizes and how they're different. In fact, I'm going to quickly draw it here on the outside edge, which is where I test my pens. Even in your real work, this outside negative space will be cut away, so you can test on there. Now, in real life, when you're doing this, you will need to colour even slower than this. If you colour fast, your colouring in will be streaky. Notice how I move forward into the white space continually. I don't go back over coloured in sections because then I roughen up the paper. Alright, so for larger sections I've switched out now to the larger or fatter markers. And in this particular section, as you can see, I am using a warm colour family. Now with the markers we also have two sizes. I'm using the thin detail marker here. This is a 0.5 pen and you can use them for very small detailed drawings. What I've used it here for is to split those two quarters into multiple strips because I want to use more than one color in there. This is how I introduce light and shade. So I'm just finishing off behind the quarters here, sort of the sunburst rays, and here we go. So with the quarters I'm going to use the two greens. The little quarter I have not split into strips with the thin marker, so I'm just colouring it in one shade of green. It's a little new frond, but the larger fronds here I'm going to use a light and a dark green. So you notice in the very skinny, very thin sections I'm using the smaller sized marker, working my way down the frond, And as I get to where it's getting wider and the thin marker is starting to struggle, I change over to the fat marker because that's able to work in larger areas and cover the paper much better without leaving streaks. And here I'm changing to the darker shade of the green, and that's how we get light and shade. So on the first frond I put the light on the outside and the shade on the inside, and with the second frond I did it the other way around. Again, you can see as I get into the very thin head of the frond, I use the thinner marker. Now, well, you can also use the thin black marker, the 0.5 detail pen, to go over an area you have already coloured in. This is a great way to add texture to your work. Again, the thin marker going into those tiny little spots, finishing off any gaps that were left. Yellow is a great colour to use as almost a gold colour. It really stands out. And here we're working now with the second colour family. These are some cool colours that I am using in a pattern. Again, the video is speeded up, so remember when you are working with it, go slowly, allow the ink to flow out of the pen. And carrying on down the bottom with the cool colour, so we also have a layering of cool to warm to blue from the top down, as well as pattern the cross between colours. And the grey over here works out really well as if it was silver, looking like little silver beads on the feather. And going in with the very thin coloured marker to pick up the little gaps. Now these markers are very expensive. These are metallic markers. We have copper and silver. These are not for colouring in because then they will run out really quickly, but they are great for detail work. They work best put over black, and you can see here I'm adding some texture dots. They could be seeds, they could be roughness, it could just be a pattern. So by tapping down the tip, I've created that pattern. And now with the silver, I'm going to use it to write with. Perhaps this is one way you might think about adding your sentence. It's not the only way, it's just one option. Again, you could use the detail black marker. If you're writing over yellow or white, that will stand out quite nicely too. The fat markers are just too thick for writing your words. Even this one is a little bit on the thick side. Right, make sure lids are always push on. So let's quickly go over the markers again. All markers, these are the fat ones, lids are on, packed away neatly. Same with the vivids, the black markers. And here, these are our little thin ones. All lids clipped tightly shut so they don't dry out. There we go, all tidied away. There are the metallic markers. There are a couple of them, but not many, because you don't need to use them a lot. And our thin detail black markers. Lids go on when you're done and pack them away where they are kept. So here we go. There is my zoomed in detail using markers, looking like a stained glass window. So you can see I did not use the entire plan. Have fun!